Today we are making a vegan General Tso inspired tofu, and if you've ever had General Tso's chicken or any kind of dish like that at a Chinese restaurant, you'll know that it's sweet and spicy and kind of sticky and glazy, which I really love with tofu. So I will say this isn't necessarily a super authentic recipe, but this is just my take on the dish using kind of simple pantry ingredients that I already had. That way you don't have to go out and buy all these specialty ingredients just to use it once for the recipe. Welcome to the Vegan Petite channel. I'm Linda. Now let's cook some tofu. Okay, the first thing you're gonna wanna do is get your hands on a block of extra firm tofu. Now make sure it's extra firm. You don't want the silken kind or medium firm because those won't hold up very well for this recipe. And I like to just cut it in half one way and then in half the other way to make these kind of like smaller rectangles. And then what you can do, just grab a paper towel and just give it a light little press to get some of the excess water off of it. You would have already drained it by now, but it's just to get a little bit of the excess moisture off. If you happen to have a tofu press, by all means go ahead and use it. But for me, that I just want to do this kind of quickly, this will work for our purposes today. Now we're gonna slice the tofu into evenly sized little cubes. Usually like about a 1/2 inch size of cube will work. You just wanna make sure that they're pretty evenly sized so that they all cook at the same time. There you go. All right, we're gonna kind of pre-season this tofu, even though we are gonna have a sauce, but we're gonna just sprinkle it with a little bit of salt and a little bit of garlic powder as well. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just gonna sprinkle some on and then just kind of toss them a little bit with your fingers. Get it kind of evenly coated. And that should do it. Now typically General Tso's chicken, whatever the original version is typically deep fried. However, for us to achieve a really nice crispy fried type of texture, we're gonna be using my handy dandy air fryer today. So we're just gonna take out the air fryer basket and add our little tofu pieces to it. You can just toss them right in. And make sure that they are spread out a little bit. You want to get kind of a nice even layer at the bottom. Now we're just going to put our basket into the air fryer and we're going to power it on. We're going to set it to 400 for 10 minutes and then we will shake the basket and flip them around. You might hear the air fryer going on in the background while the tofu is cooking. We are going to start preparing our sauce. First up, we need 1 tablespoon of cornstarch. This is what is going to make our sauce nice and thick and glazed. So 1 tablespoon of that. And to the cornstarch, we will add about 1/4 cup of water just to incorporate it. And then go ahead and whisk that with a fork. Now, typically for the General Tso's sauce recipe, they call for chicken broth, but you can either use vegetable broth, or what I like to use is this Better Than Bouillon veggie version. They have it at Sprouts, they have the big versions at Costco as well, and this is really an affordable way to make a bunch of veggie broth at home. So this is what I will use. I'm gonna add a teaspoon of the bouillon. And if you don't have bouillon or vegetable stock on hand, just use water and add maybe like an extra little teaspoon of soy sauce to your mixture. It's not really a big deal. And then you can whisk that up as well. So now the veggie bouillon is pretty well whisked into the mixture. Now for the savory element, we're gonna use some low sodium soy sauce, and we're gonna add a 1/4 cup to our mixture. This is taking way too long. I should have just taken the cap off of it. There we go. Okay. For the sweet element, we're gonna use some maple syrup. Now granted, I don't think they use maple syrup in China, but I like it because it's nice and dark, and it does have like a little bit of smokiness and richness to it that I think works really well with savory recipes. For a little bit of balance and acidity, we are going to use some vinegar. I have apple cider vinegar on hand. If you have rice vinegar, that would be even better. But I'm just gonna use 2 tablespoons for now. Next up, we need to have a spicy element for the sauce. I happen to have some sriracha hot sauce on hand. If you have sambal chili paste, you can use that as well. So I'm gonna go in with 2 teaspoons of sriracha. And if you don't have either type of hot sauce or chili paste, you could use some dried red chili flakes and add maybe like a tablespoon of tomato paste to this. And whisk it all up. Ooh, and our air fryer just went off, so we are going to shake the basket. Ooh, they're starting to look a little golden already. Okay, so this be very careful with this because it is hot. You're gonna shake it a little bit, and if there's any that are sticking, you can just gently unstick them with a fork. Ooh, it's starting to look a little bit crispy on the top. Okay, they are unstuck. Now we just shake them, and we're gonna pop them in for another 10 minutes, 400 degrees, just like before. Come on! There it is. Now to prepare for the stir fry portion of our dish, we're going to chop 2 cloves of garlic and a thumb-sized piece of ginger. So this is what you do, okay? Be very careful. You're gonna put your knife over it. 1, 2, 3, smash! And smash. And that makes it easier to peel the garlic. All right, and then just go in and chop up your garlic and your ginger. I like to do this together. It smells really good when you chop them all together. All right, and now our garlic and ginger is nice and finely chopped. Okay, I just heard the air fryer go off one more time, so let's check and see how they look. Ooh, that's nice. It is nice and golden brown. They look crispy on the edges. That's exactly what we're looking for. So just to keep these warm, I'm gonna keep them in the air fryer, but I'll turn off the air fryer so You don't need to cook them any longer, just set them aside on standby. Now to make this all come together, we are gonna need a nice large skillet, and we're going to turn this on to medium-high. Now that our skillet is hot, we're going to add a little splash of water. Woo. Yep, that's ready. And now we're going to add our garlic and ginger mixture. And we're going to swirl it around and cook it for about a minute or two until it starts to get fragrant. Our garlic and ginger has been cooking for a couple minutes and it is starting to smell really nice. So now we're going to just re-stir the sauce and pour it in. You're gonna mix it well and cook it for a couple minutes until you start to see some bubbles around the top. Look at that, our sauce is starting to get a little bit bubbly. You want to just make sure that you keep stirring it as you notice it cooking, because we don't want the cornstarch parts to clump and we want it to be a nice, even, slightly thick texture. And at this point, you can start to lower the heat as well down to like a medium-low. Okay. Oh, look at that. Look at that. I turned down the stove to low because this is really starting to bubble up pretty quickly. And this is the perfect opportunity to toss in our air-fried tofu. Ooh la la. And then just stir to coat it evenly. It smells really good. It looks so sticky. I love that. For a serving suggestion, you can put some frozen broccoli into the air fryer, and I'm just gonna cook it at 380 for 8 minutes and shake it halfway through. Again, you can serve this with whatever kind of veggies that you like, but this is a quick and easy way to do it. Ooh, and now our tofu is nicely coated in the sauce. Our broccoli is done from the air fryer. And look, it's still nice and tender and not soggy, which sometimes can happen when you boil or steam broccoli. So we're gonna add that in there and we're gonna stir it. And that broccoli is gonna soak up a little bit of that sauce as well. Now you're gonna plate this dish over a bed of hot cooked rice. And here we go. Get a good even amount of the broccoli and the tofu as well. And voila, we have our lovely General Tso tofu with broccoli. And if you like, you can add a little garnish of sesame seeds right on top for a nice little bit of contrast to that presentation. There you have it. Oh my gosh, this looks so good. I can't wait to try this. Let's get a little bit of rice. Ooh, we got a little piece of broccoli in there and the tofu. Here we go. Yeah. Wow, that is really flavorful. I got a hint of that ginger right there. It's nice and sweet. There's a little bit of like a sweet and sour element to it, and definitely savory as well. And I just love how the sauce coats the crispiness of the tofu on this dish. Super good. Be sure to hit the like button down below if you like saucy recipes just like this one, and comment if you want to see more tofu recipes on the Vegan Petite channel. Be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out. I share new videos every Sunday.